Hello, I'm Brian Morris, member of the Auburn Chess Club near Sacramento, California. We're here to talk again about games that were played at the Las Vegas Chess Club last week at the Rocking Open, round 3. The players are Stephen Barbre, white, Jose Ramirez, black, both strong players. We're on move 21 in this game, and white currently has almost a 2-pawn advantage according to the machine, the engine. Looking at the position before we get into what happened, white has more activity. Pieces are out and in the game, whereas black, the bishop, the rooks, even the knight on d7, they all look kind of comatose. Whereas the queen's active, but you hate to have that be your only active piece. White does have some problems. The knight on a4 does not look good there. He's not doing much. Kind of hard to imagine exactly what he's going to do in the game. So that's something. And the knight on d2 could certainly be on a better square. Now what just happened prior to this is black's queen was on h4 and white pushed g3, hassling the queen. It's black's best piece, strongest piece, so you hassle the queen. That's kind of a normal strategy in most games. The queen goes to g4. The queen has to be careful. He's in kind of a tight spot, and queens don't like to be, rooks are the same way, don't like to be in tight spots. You know, they just can't, they can get trapped. All right, so white has an idea. White goes king to g2. The machine doesn't think this is very good. He lost almost a pawn of his advantage with this move. It's not hard to imagine what he wants to do. He wants to push h3, again, hassling the queen. And the queen, it could be argued, is running out of squares. It's not going to get trapped probably, but it's a nuisance to black. The white is trying to improve his queen, his pieces. Now, e5 is a position that actually I think, or a move I believe, has several points to it. One is the queen has a diagonal to escape on. Another is that you're creating some potential for that to challenge the d4 pawn on white's side. White has a stronger center. Challenge that pawn, and if that pawn takes e5, the knight can take, and now the knight is stronger. The bishop is freed up to be activated, and the rooks are looking at each other, if that happens that way. But white has some strong points too, and here's one of them. This is his move. Rook to c7. A rook on the 7th. Strong idea. Many, many games have been won, simply because they got their rook on the 7th. It creates havoc in the enemy camp. And so black challenges the center further, but now that it's getting hairier. What to do here? There's a couple things. The queen can't take. The rook's guarding that pawn. If I want to take that pawn off, I got to do it with the pawn. But if you do that, it's not hard to imagine black's next move. Check, and he's going to win the knight on the next move. So, and that's what happened in the game, by the way. But what is the best move? Knight f3. Now that's still difficult for white. E takes f2, knight b6, attacking the rook, hitting the knight twice, and the bishop twice. This is just a great maneuver. It's not that easy to see in a game. And once again, black is a piece up. This is what happened in the game. I'm going to zip through a couple moves here to get to the point that I want to White realizes, I mean, it's not hard to see, that queen takes the rook. Checkmate. Got a mate threat here. He could retreat the rook, but he brings the queen down, which brings the rook down. He's hitting the undefended knight. Well, it is defended, I'm sorry. It is defended, but he's hitting the knight. So the queen has to keep one eye on that. And what can white do to that? Cannot be defended. And white resigned.